the alarm, a jarring, synthetic shriek that cuts through the silence of your room. Before your consciousness fully returns, your hand is already moving. It's an instinct, a twitch, a reflex carved into your nervous system by thousands of repetitions. It finds the device on your nightstand, cool and smooth. Your thumb, a loyal soldier, following unconscious orders, unlocks the screen. A blast of cold, blue light floods your retinas, and the assault begins. You've just woken up, but you have already lost the war for your day. The first battle was decided in the dark, and you surrendered without a fight. You tell yourself you're just checking the time, or the weather. But your thumb has a mind of its own. It swipes past the clock, past the temperature, and opens the portal. A political headline sparks a flicker of outrage. A friend's perfectly curated vacation photo triggers a dull ache of envy. A work email, marked urgent, sends a jolt of anxiety straight to your stomach. A stock market notification, glowing red, whispers of failure. You are not even out of bed, yet you have already cycled through a half-dozen negative emotions. You have willingly flooded your brain, your fragile, waking brain, with a cocktail of cheap dopamine, secondhand stress, and the deafening noise of other people's priorities. This is the silent ritual of the 99%. A modern-day prayer to a false god of connectivity. It feels harmless. It feels necessary. But it is a self-inflicted wound, a slow and methodical erosion of your focus, your discipline, and your will. You are starting your day not at zero, but deep in the negative. You are beginning your race with weights shackled to your ankles, weights you placed there yourself. You are teaching your mind that its first duty is not to create, not to plan, not to focus, but to react. To be a passive receptacle for the chaos of the world. The 1%, and I'm not talking about wealth, I'm talking about the 1% of men who operate with an elite level of mental control. Understand a fundamental, non-negotiable truth. The first 60 minutes of the day do not belong to your boss. They do not belong to the news cycle. They do not belong to the curated lives of strangers on social media. Those first 60 minutes belong to you. They are the most sacred, most valuable, and most controllable territory you will have all day. In that golden hour, the soil of your mind is at its most fertile. You can choose to plant the seeds of intention, clarity, and strength. Or you can do what most do. Leave the gates wide open and allow the world to trample through, planting weeds of distraction and anxiety. The choice is binary. There is no middle ground. In those first 60 minutes, you either forge your mind into a weapon, or the world will use your own inaction to break it for you. You tell yourself it's harmless. You whisper a quiet lie to the most important person you know, yourself. You say you're just waking up or catching up on the world. But let's be brutally honest for a moment. What world are you truly catching up on? Are you downloading critical intelligence for your day's mission? Or are you mainlining the curated anxieties and manufactured triumphs of a million strangers? This justification, this little story you tell yourself as your thumb begins its morning dance, is the most dangerous lie of all. It's the permission slip you write to justify a weakness, a comforting narrative that masks a devastating reality. The reality is this: you are an addict, and that glowing rectangle is your needle. You are not catching up. You are injecting your consciousness with a carefully engineered cocktail of digital fentanyl, a substance designed by the sharpest minds of a generation for one purpose and one purpose only: to keep you compliant, distracted, and wanting more. Every tap, every scroll is a microdose. A hit of outrage from a political headline. A hit of envy from an influencer's beachfront breakfast. A hit of anxiety from a market alert flashing red. A hit of hollow validation from a notification badge. You think you are consuming information, but you are being consumed by it. You are beginning your day, not as a commander, but as a responder. You are starting in a defensive crouch, reacting to the world's chaos, instead of imposing your own order, your own will, your own intention upon the day. You are letting the algorithm set your emotional temperature before your feet have even touched the floor. This is a battle for your sovereignty, and you are surrendering before the sun has even risen. You believe that phone is a tool, a neutral object of glass and silicon, but a hammer does not buzz in your pocket, begging to be held. A saw does not send you phantom vibrations, tricking your nervous system into a state of alert. A tool serves its master. What you hold in your hand each morning is not your tool. It has become your master. And every single morning that you reach for it, you are performing a sacred ritual of submission. You are physically reinforcing the neural pathways of a slave. Think of your brain as a landscape of soft earth. The first few times you perform an action, you create a faint path. But when you walk that same path every single day, for years, it ceases to be a path. It becomes a trench, a deep, unthinking groove that your mind will fall into with the slightest nudge. The impulse to check, to scroll, to react becomes the path of least resistance. It becomes automatic. It becomes you. You are, quite literally, programming your own mind to seek distraction over discipline, to prefer reaction over action. You are teaching the most powerful biological computer on the planet that its primary function is to be a receptacle for the noise of others. You are not building mental armor to face the challenges of your life. You are systematically, methodically dissolving it, one scroll at a time, leaving your mind exposed and vulnerable to the chaos you were meant to conquer. So where does the escape route lie? If the modern world has built a digital prison around your mind, a cage of infinite distraction and manufactured outrage, how do you possibly break free? The answer is not found in a new productivity app. It will not be delivered in a software update. It is not a secret guarded by Silicon Valley billionaires. The solution to this modern poison is an ancient law, a principle forged not in code, but in the fires of human suffering over 2,000 years ago. It comes from a man who knew more about slavery than any of us ever will, because he lived it. His name was Epictetus. Born a slave in the Roman Empire, he endured a life of physical bondage. His leg was deliberately broken by a cruel master, leaving him lame for the rest of his life. Yet from this state of utter powerlessness, he discovered the ultimate source of human freedom, a freedom that no chains could bind and no emperor could take away. He called this discovery the Dichotomy of Control, and it is the key that will unlock your cage. The law is brutally, elegantly simple. Epictetus stated, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control." Think about that. To separate the world into two distinct categories, the noise and your will, the things you can influence and the things you cannot. This isn't just a quaint philosophical idea. It is the fundamental operating system for a powerful mind. It is the first line of defense against the chaos of the world, and its most critical application happens in the first 60 seconds of your day. Let's apply this law to your morning. What is outside of your control the moment you wake up? A war on another continent, a downturn in the stock market, the latest political scandal, the carefully curated vacation photos of a person you barely know, the angry opinions of a million strangers on social media, the algorithm, specifically designed to hijack your attention. All of it, every last pixel, is external. It is utterly, completely, and irrevocably outside of your control. To engage with it first thing in the morning is to willingly surrender your mind to a hurricane of things you cannot change. It is an act of profound self-sabotage. Now, what is within your control? Just one thing. A single, simple choice. The choice to reach for the phone, or the choice to leave it be. That's it. That is the entire battlefield. The algorithm is not in your control, but your thumb is. The news cycle is not in your control, but your attention is. The opinions of others are not in your control, but your first action of the day absolutely is. The Stoic, the one who seeks to build an unbreakable mind, understands this with perfect clarity. He seizes this first point of control as if his life depends on it, because in a way it does. The addict, the slave to the device, relinquishes this control without a fight. He trades his sovereignty for a cheap hit of dopamine. He chooses to be a puppet, allowing the external world to pull his strings from the moment he opens his eyes. This single choice, to touch the screen or to abstain, is the most fundamental expression of the dichotomy of control. It determines whether you will be the master of your day or a victim of it. The Stoic law is not a theory to be admired. It is a weapon to be wielded, and its first application begins not in a moment of crisis, but in the quiet darkness of your bedroom before the sun has even risen. What follows is not a list of friendly suggestions or productivity tips you can bookmark and forget. This is your new protocol. It is an operating system for mental sovereignty, and it is non-negotiable. Its execution is the physical act of building your mental armor before you step onto the battlefield of the day. Rule 1. The phone jail. That is G-A-O-L, an old word for jail. Effective tonight, your phone is sentenced to solitary confinement, far from your sleeping quarters. It does not sleep on your nightstand. It does not sleep on your floor. It charges in the kitchen, the living room, or the office. Its proximity to your resting mind is a contamination. You will go out and procure the simplest, dumbest alarm clock you can find. This is not a regression. It is a declaration of independence. Your bedroom is a sanctuary for psychological and physiological repair. It is where your brain consolidates memory, clears metabolic waste, and prepares for the cognitive demands of the next day. The mere presence of your smartphone, even turned off, creates what psychologists call an attentional cost. A part of your brain remains tethered to it, anticipating the phantom buzz, the glow of a notification. You are not truly resting. You are on standby. By removing the device, you reclaim the sanctity of your recovery. You are telling your subconscious mind that this space is for restoration, not for consumption. Rule 2. The first hour is sanctum. For the first 60 minutes after your eyes open, the phone is a black mirror. It does not exist. It is a void. This hour is sacred. It is the only time of day that is truly yours, before the demands, the emergencies, and the agendas of others come crashing in. In this hour, you are not a reactor. You are an architect. You are laying the foundation for your mental state. Think of it this way. You can either spend these 60 minutes forging your own thoughts, setting your own compass, and building a fortress of internal order, or You can open the gates and allow a Trojan horse filled with digital chaos to enter your mind. The choice determines whether you spend the rest of the day commanding your attention or begging for it back. This is not about willpower. It is about environment design. By making the phone inaccessible, you make the right choice the only choice. Rule 3. Hydration before stimulation. Before a single thought about work, before any physical movement, your first conscious act is to drink 1 full glass of water. This is not a wellness trend. It is basic mechanical maintenance. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, your body is in a state of significant dehydration. Your brain, which is approximately 75% water, is functioning on low fluid. Attempting to engage in complex thought or emotional regulation with a dehydrated brain is like trying to run a high-performance engine with no oil. It creates friction, stress, and cognitive drag. This simple act is a profound statement. It says, I service my hardware before I corrupt my software. You are honoring your biological reality before engaging with the digital one. It is the first, easiest victory of the day. Rule 4. Movement before media. For 5 to 10 minutes, you will perform a physical task. Push-ups until you cannot do another. Bodyweight squats. A brisk walk outside if possible. The goal is not a full workout. The goal is to send an undeniable signal from your body to your brain. We are awake. We are capable. We are in command. This act floods your system with endorphins and norepinephrine in a clean, natural way, the very neurochemicals you feebly attempt to get from the shallow validation of a social media like. It reminds you that your body is not merely a transport vehicle for your head. It is a weapon, a tool, an active participant in your reality. You are reminding yourself that you are an agent who acts upon the world, not an avatar who is acted upon by a feed. Rule 5. Sunlight before screen light. You will get direct sunlight in your eyes for at least 2 minutes. Stand by a window, step onto a balcony, or walk outside. Do not stare at the sun, but allow the photons of natural light to enter your retina. This is a non-negotiable biological command that our species has obeyed for millennia. This light hits a cluster of neurons in your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the master clock of your body. It triggers the optimal release of cortisol to promote wakefulness, and it shuts down the production of melatonin, the hormone of sleep. This single act sets your entire circadian rhythm for the day, improving your mood, focus, and the quality of your sleep the following night. We have foolishly replaced this perfect, natural signal with the chaotic, aggressive blue light of a screen, a poor imitation that confuses our ancient biology. Reclaim this fundamental connection. Obey the laws of nature before you obey the laws of the algorithm. Rule 6. Contemplation before consumption. For 5 minutes, you will sit in silence. No phone, no journal, no music, no podcasts, just you and your own mind. This is not passive meditation. This is a strategic briefing. In this silence, you will review your primary objective for the day. What is the single most important thing you must accomplish? You will visualize its completion. You are priming your mind, preparing it for the mission. The world will spend the next 16 hours trying to distract you with a million trivialities. This 5-minute briefing arms your focus. It calibrates your internal guidance system to recognize and prioritize what truly matters. Finally, Rule 7. The single task mandate. After your sacred hour is complete, you will execute on your single most important task for 25 minutes without interruption before you have earned the right to check your phone. This proves the protocol was not just a morning ritual. It was preparation for action. You built the armor. Now you use it to advance. The 1%, the men who operate at the highest levels of focus and discipline, execute this protocol without feeling. It is not based on motivation. It is a system. And for them, the system is law. Your trial period is over. The information has been delivered. The knowledge has been transferred. And the blueprint for your liberation has been laid at your feet. There is no more to learn, no more to analyze. There is only the doing. The phase of passive consumption has ended. This protocol is live, effective at your next sunrise. There is no negotiation. There is no, "I'll start on Monday." That phrase, that simple, insidious lie, is the anthem of the weak. It is the bargain your addiction makes with your ambition, a promise to change tomorrow in exchange for one more day of servitude. It is a poison that tastes like comfort. You must understand, your new life did not begin when you found this transmission. It began the moment you understood its truth. Right now, in this very second, you are standing at a fork in the road of your own consciousness. Down one path is the familiar, worn-out track you've been walking for years. It is paved with comfort, with the soft glow of the screen, with the easy, cheap dopamine of 1,000 meaningless notifications. It is a gentle, downward slope that leads directly into a valley of quiet desperation, unfulfilled potential, and a life lived in reaction to the whims of algorithms and the priorities of other people. Down the other path, the one that begins tomorrow morning, is a steep, rugged, and disciplined ascent. It is cold at first. It is lonely. There is no external validation, no digital applause. There is only the friction of resistance and the quiet, internal hum of a machine being brought online. This path is built not on feeling, but on protocol. It is built on the non-negotiable laws you now hold. The choice is yours, but do not fool yourself into believing it is a small one. It is the only choice that has ever mattered. The choice between the man you are and the man you were born to be. Your weakness for the screen is not a personality trait. It is not an unavoidable symptom of modern life. It is a choice. A choice you remake every single morning. Every time your hand reaches for that phone, you are casting a vote. You are voting for distraction over focus. You are voting for anxiety over peace. You are voting for a reactive mind over a sovereign one. Today, you choose discipline. Today, you cast a new vote. But this vote cannot be silent. It must be declared. It must be made real in the physical world. To seal this contract with yourself, to burn this decision into your psyche, you will go to the comments section of this transmission, and you will write your declaration. This is not for me. This is not for an audience. This is your digital handshake with reality. It is the first tangible act of your new life. You will write the affirmation, the command that will now define your mornings. The phrase is, "I forge the morning." Do not just type it. Feel the weight of those 4 words. Forge. This is not a gentle act. Forging requires fire, pressure, and a hammer. It is the violent and deliberate creation of something strong and useful from raw, unrefined material. That is what you will do to the first hour of your day. You will bend it to your will. You will hammer it into a shield. Write it now. Then, your second and final command. Identify one man in your life who is still a slave to his device, a brother, a friend, a colleague. You know who he is. You see the same vacant, screen-lit expression on his face that you once saw in your own mirror. You will send him this protocol, but you will not ask him to watch it. You will not suggest it might be helpful. You will command him. You will tell him, "This is your protocol now. The trial is over. It begins at sunrise." Leadership is not about being liked. It is about demanding the best from those you care about. You are not saving him from a habit. You are liberating a fellow prisoner of war. End of transmission.